Yo, what up, Mark? Hopefully, I can stay for the whole thing. Busy day at work. May have to duck out. Let me know what that's like. Okay, we got eight, seven, eight people to start. I did training this morning, chest and shoulders, and a little bit of arms. Um, it was a good workout. Everything is going good. What up, Crunchy? DLC in the house, my dude. Yeah, so upper body this morning. Normally, this is my least favorite workout of the week, but we changed a few things around. So it is a bit more enjoyable now. I get bored with training very easily, unfortunately. Um, I've trained for over 20 years, so you can't really do anything that's going to excite me anymore. But we still show up and get it done. What up, Lee? My man. Yeah, and I don't mean that I don't enjoy training, obviously. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do any of this. But um, yeah, I still like to feel excited in the gym. Um, and it goes through phases, you know. What kind of questions do you guys have? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. By the time I'm done with one program, I am ready for another. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. That's why I always liked John Meadows' stuff, because 8, 12 week programs, whichever program you're running. Um, Sometimes he would change things after the first 8 week block. So that's why I always liked John Meadows' stuff. I still like John Meadows' stuff, but now um, Danny writes my training for me. Um, so she's got control of everything, and I don't need to worry about shit. And that's how I like it. When is a GDA something you would consider? Really, any time is acceptable to run a GDA. I think there's a lot of good ones out there. I have a lot of guys using Ravenous. Lots of good digestion support in that supplement. That one's made by Project AD. I think Chase has a code, probably code Chase. But that's a good one. Um, that's one that I've used in the past. But yeah, really, a GDA is something you can use at any time, um, especially if the A1C numbers are running a little bit high and things like that on the blood work. It's going to help with any type of digestion a lot of the times too, depending on which one it is. Some are supplemented more towards, you know, carbohydrate based, but a lot of them actually will have a lot of digestion support in them too. That's why I do like the Ravenous. I think the Ravenous is a really overall good product. Um, why? You ask, when is a GDA something you'd consider? Really, anytime. Why would you consider it? Um, just to, keep digestion good, especially if you're eating a lot of food, like it's really good in the progression season. When you're dieting, generally insulin sensitivity and digestion is normally in a pretty good spot because of the lack of food, um, or less food, whatever you want to call it. So normally it's in a pretty good spot already when you're dieting. So really, I think a GDA is good pre-contest when you're carb loading into the show. and you're consuming lots of carbs after being very depleted, I think a GDA is really beneficial then. And then in the progression phase where you're pushing food um, higher and everything like that. Good morning, Amy. Welcome, welcome. Mark says the scorpion has exercises I've never done before. It's quite fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chris Edmonds. I've been a fan of his for a long, long time. Yeah, Chris Edmonds is he's a good dude. Josh Richardson, my man. What client feedback on the meal plan is useful versus shut up and follow it? Well, the meal plan is based off foods that you guys give me that you say you enjoy. So I don't think there would ever be a reason for me to say shut up and follow it when you actually gave me all the foods to build the diet for you. So that would just be silly. Um, yeah, no, there's no shut up and follow it. You literally gave me the foods to build your diet. I have, this is why I ask people, hey, what are your preferred proteins, fats, carbs, veggies, and fruits? And the reason I'm asking that is so I can build the diet off the foods you give me. So there's no need for feedback on a plan where you gave me all the material to build, right? It doesn't make sense. Um, Loving Scorpion 2 says DLC, about to go into week 7, ready for the Sub Zero. Yeah, I do. I did purchase both the plans, just so guys, I have so many training programs and ebooks. My Google Drive, I think I have over like 85 ebooks of different shit. And I just buy them all. I read through them, I reference them. It's something I've done since I was younger. But I have all sorts of cool shit that I can go back to and look at. And I bought these plans, one, to support Chris, and two, because a lot of my clients are running them. So if they have a question about it, I can just open the book and see what the hell they're talking about. But yeah, the Scorpion, very cool. Sub Zero looks very good as well. I just was glancing through that the other night. Brett, glad I got to catch another one of these. Just cracked a bum energy drink, eating my pre workout meal, ready to get greasy. My man, Brett is, he has transformed incredibly well um, over the last 6 months or so. We will be very excited to post that transformation at some point once we keep digging things out. But wow, incredible work from him for sure. Mark says, I remember on a podcast you went over how AJ would adjust food according to how you look instead of the traditional bulking and cutting type diet. Can you go over that? I mean, that's what it is. There's nothing to go over. Um, Bulking and cutting, like you need to quantify those because people throw those words around and they don't really mean anything to me because I've been in the industry for so long that bulking back in the day just meant you got fat as shit. And then for your cutting, you got somewhat lean. And you are the guy that will spin your wheels and be in a yo yo diet for 10, 15 years and never make any progress. So when I see you write bulking and cutting, that's what I think of. So no, there's not much to explain there. Got the Sub Zero as well. Listen to him about how he builds your work capacity up into it. Yeah, you can't just. A lot of the times, you can't just jump into a high volume program. You need to have, what Louis Simmons back in the day would call GPP, general physical preparedness. So that partly applies to bodybuilding as well. You actually have to be in shape before you can actually exercise. Um, so yeah, especially if you're working with people that are very undertrained, like lifestyle people that are potentially very obese or things like that, a lot of the training that I prescribe for them is like, you guys would look at it and laugh, but it's exactly what they need at that time. We emphasize a lot of steps and things like that. We live in our own little bubble where, yeah, we can go. I can't send one of my lifestyle women, you know, who's potentially overweight to go buy Chris Edmonds' Scorpion program. Um, it wouldn't be responsible of me, one, and two, it just wouldn't be a good idea. Um, Brett says, I'm about to meet my girlfriend's mom. There we go. She was like, Brett is still working with a coach, or did he give up because he's got a did he give up because he's got a girlfriend? Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Josh says, love the style of dumbbell rows on your last video. I tried them last week. Thanks for the training videos and insight. Yeah, those are the, I call them Chris Edmonds rows because he's the guy that really made them quite popular. And if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, that's where your front foot is forward and you're doing a dumbbell row, and you kind of come across your midline, and allow the scapula to kind of wrap around the rib cage and really lengthen that lat. Um, I have trouble finding a row that is better than that for me. I hate traditional dumbbell rows. I absolutely hate them. Um, like with a knee on a bench, like no, just kill me. I will never, 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 never. I won't do that movement. For me, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't mean I don't. If I had a client doing it and it worked well for them, then yeah, of course that's great. But no, like I would never fucking do that movement. It sucks. Um, yeah, Brad, for sure, man. Tom G, I have sciatica. Limits my ability to get cardio in. Walking 1/10 of a mile and I would have to stop. Going to try a row machine. Any ideas on cardio for the sciatically impaired? Man, I would try, if you have access to a pool, I think swimming would be really low impact. I think it could provide some prehab and rehab for the sciatica. Um, I would look into that, Tom. I would look into that. I think swimming is an underrated form of cardio. But remember, anything that gets your heart rate over 120 beats per minute is cardio. So, man, I don't care if you go play the drums or some shit. You just got to get that heart rate up over 120 and keep it there for over 20 minutes. That's what cardio's defined by, right? So yeah, that would be my one thing for you to consider to try. Like a Lifetime Fitness or sometimes LA Fitness and stuff like that. A lot of the times, those type of gyms can be affordable, and they do. You will have access to a swimming pool, so something to consider. Brett says, by the way, Chicago was fucking awesome, dude. Sorry I couldn't make it up by you. Yeah, Chicago's great. Chicago's great. It's really it's a nice city, most parts of it. Um, you the drivers are insane, so you have to be careful when you're out and about. But overall, Chicago's a good city. DLC, the step forward row is amazing. Yep, I agree. It's one of my favorite rows. All in all, my back training recently um, has been probably the most productive training that I've been doing. Back and legs have been going good, um, but my back training this year specifically has been better than it's ever been. And that step forward dumbbell row is a huge thing for me. Brett says, Best part about training programs is you find so many movements that you can just keep forever. I'll definitely be keeping in kettlebell tricep extensions and the overhead dumbbell extension for lats from Creeping Death 2. Yeah, that was, man, Meadows was the pioneer for a lot of cool different movements that he doesn't always get credit for. But you got to remember, John trained with a lot of different people, and he learned movements from all sorts of people. And that's what it's all about, Brett. You nailed it. Is picking these things up and building your own toolbox over time. So you have all these different tools to reach in and grab when you need a specific one, when other things aren't feeling good, um, you know, everything like that. Like I said, I've trained for a long time now, so I've learned so many different exercises and movement patterns and things like that. So I have a very large toolbox of movements that I can dig into when I need to. And it's incredibly effective, especially now that I'm working with Danny, because she'll prescribe something and I will add a little of my own nuance to it, which she allows me to do. Um, and just make sure that I'm making the movement so it works for me and that it fits me, right? And that I feel it well and everything like that. Um, Lee says that the foot forward rows are a little bit awkward at first. Yeah, you kind of have to get out of your own way. And that's kind of the point. So you kind of get that sweeping motion, and that scapula really wraps that rib cage. So that is kind of the point of that movement to begin with. They are for sure a little awkward at first. There's still awkward shit about them for me. You know, sometimes I have issues like where to distribute my body weight and stuff like that with them. But I mean, overall, they're getting better and better for me. Mark says that the Dante row on the cable row machine smokes my lats. Yeah, that's a good movement too. I've been doing them standing now lately, and doing them from like a low row pulley, and that way I can really, really round over um, and hit the low lat really well. So that's how I've been doing them lately. But yeah, the Dante rows are good. Brett says that LA Fitness actually has a goated pool, 80 degrees year round. Pool is pretty nice. Yeah, Tom. So that's something you can consider. I think LA Fitnesses are pretty affordable for monthly membership. So maybe if you have one of those by you, you could look into that, um, to get your cardio done and avoid flaring up the sciatica. Matt is in the house. What's up, everyone? Melmac says, fear of drowning is a good way to get your heart rate up if you can't swim. Yeah, yeah, that'll work. Brett, what's the best Zyn flavor? All Zyn suck. I'm a rogue guy, but I can never find rogues in 3 milligrams, and I'm trying to limit how much nicotine I use because I am a nicotine drug addict. So I try to stay with 3 milligrams, and I can never find 3 milligram rogues. Um, Generally, I'm using spearmint or cool mint for my nicotine go tos. Rodney Weaver in the house. What's up, Rodney? Jared's in the house. What's up, Jared? Brett says LA Fitness is remodeling all locations now too. Hot tubs, powerlifting rooms, multiple machines, new everything. They're basically gutting the whole gyms. Yeah, that's what I've heard. My local LA Fitness, I think it's like 20 minutes from me. I've heard it's gotten quite good. Yep, yep, I have heard that about those. Lee says he's going to check out the Dante row. Yeah, the Dante row. Sometimes you'll see them as troponin rows. Um, you can find those on YouTube. But basically, it's like a horizontal lat pull down. If that makes sense, I don't know. Look it up. You'll figure it out. Brett says Rogue Honey Lemon is fire. Yeah, Honey Lemon's good. The apple is good. Like I said, I prefer Rogues, but I can never find 3 milligram, and I'm trying to limit my abusive behavior with nicotine. I don't like, Mark says the Velo Dragonberry. I don't like that brand, Mark. I don't know why. I don't like the shape and texture of the pouch. That's why I don't like Zen either. The Rogues are a bit bigger um, and substantial. And I was a guy who chewed tobacco for a long time, so I need something a little heavier in there. But yeah, Rodney knows. Rodney knows. Long cut wintergreen grizzly. My man, that is my language. That's where I'm at. That's where my true love is. Long cut grizzly wintergreen. I haven't dipped in, I don't know, 13 years, maybe. It's been a long time. Long time. Still addicted to it. Good job. There's a new one out called Clue. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. They all suck. Um, Brett's talking about his LA Fitness. The one by me is modeled after Gold's in Long Beach. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, Smalls in the house. Austin, my man. Congratulations on your victory at your show. Incredible look, incredible athlete to train and be a part of that journey with you. Very fun. You and Stacy both. A pleasure. Dante Roser, sweet, says Austin. Insane pumps. Yeah, very crampy, pumpy, stretchy. Very good movement. I like back movements that are kind of dragging and squeezy and stretchy. Don't get me wrong. I like clanging and banging shit too, like a T-bar row. That stuff's great. But man, I love to finish back with something stretchy and um, whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. You either get it or you don't. Brett says, I read an analog on vasoconstriction from nicotine the other day. It's made me want to cut back. I did just try taking NYKD pouches. They're so vasoconstriction. Yeah, it's a thing. Shit I don't worry about. No, no, no. Shit that's never even crossed my mind. I take enough EQ that you're not fucking, nicotine's not slowing down anything. I'm fine. I am good to go. Nicotine will never, ever lose the battle to my equipoise. No, not happening. Sorry. Brett's on a nicotine kick today. There's just nothing like throwing in a 6 mg Zen, smacking on an energy drink. This dude's getting turned up right now. Go to the gym, Brett. You're getting wild. You need to lower that ephedrine dose, my friend. Small says, thanks, brother. Same here. Time to grow. We're going to grow. We're going to grow. Um, that's the goal for you right now, is to put on more tissue, then we're going to take you to nationals, young man. That's what we're going to do with you. Brett says, I was surely the EQ would be pushing this through. Yeah, that's where my mind's at. Um, Josh Richardson, my man. Thoughts on overhead pressing and how important it is or isn't. Cannot find a movement that feels good. Uh, I don't have any thoughts about anything, Josh, ever. No, yeah, overhead pressing's fine if it works with you. Um, it depends what you're using it for. Some guys will overhead press, guys and girls, they'll overhead press, and all they feel is front delt and tricep. So if you're trying to bang your front delts, then yeah, overhead press is good. But if your goal is to hit that side delt and the overhead press isn't doing it for you, then no, it's probably not a movement that you want to continue with. You said I cannot find a movement that feels good. So yeah, what do you mean for your shoulders, or you can't find an overhead press variation that feels good? I'm a guy that if I would much rather do a high incline than an actual overhead press. Um, that's just me personally. I much prefer a high incline over an actual overhead press. Um, I did a lot of overhead pressing in my powerlifting days um, because it built your triceps really well. Um, you know, the last part of a bench press is a tricep extension. Last part of an overhead press is a tricep extension. So it carried over well to the bench press for me. For me, Brett says I'm fired up right now, dude. Yeah, we know, Brett. We know. Lee says I like the Elite FTS squat box you use for pull downs. Are there many other uses for it? Well, yeah, it's a squat box, so you can squat to it. But you can use it for Bulgarian split squats. I use it for everything, dude. I basically just use it for a lightweight place to sit instead of dragging a bench all over the fucking place. Um, that thing's like, I don't know, it's like 2 pounds. So I'd much rather move that than carry a bench around. Um, I use them for Copenhagen planks. You can look those up. It's a way to train your adductors at home when you don't have an adduction machine, which I might buy. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking about getting some more shit for my gym, but I don't know. I don't know. It's getting kind of tight in there, and I don't want it to get to a point where it's. I don't want to get to a point where it's so crowded in there that it becomes a pain in the ass to even move around. Um, but I was thinking about like a pendulum squat, or maybe some sort of chest supported T bar row. I don't know. I don't know. I have everything I need right now, but anything now is just going to be additional, like extra luxuries. Um, so I would have to decide what would be worth doing because obviously those two machines that I just mentioned, I mean, their function is what their function is. So I can't use a pendulum squat for anything besides what it is, right? Same with the T bar row. So now I'm starting to get specific with machines. Like all my other shit, I can do a lot of different stuff with it. So we'll see. Any Mountain Dog programs you would recommend for an upper lower 4 day split? Um, Rodney, I would go to the comparison chart on John's website. Let me see if I can pull it up because that lays it out nice, um, and it tells you. Yeah, you can type in mountaindogdiet.com comparison chart, and it will tell you um, how they're broken up. So it will tell you like a level of athlete that you are. So advanced, intermediate, beginner, shit like that. Um, and then it kind of tells you like frequency, and it tells you the type of split that it is. Um, so, for example, you said upper lower. So, Warlock would be a good example. I've ran the Warlock once. I don't like upper lower for myself, um, but I tend to like push pull legs or traditional row split shit. I absolutely fucking hate full body. Um, yeah, no, 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 no. Yeah, if you want to do upper lower, I think Warlock is going to hit that best for you. Jared says high incline for the win. Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Siep's doing the Warlock right now, um, and he's enjoying that. So yeah, that's what I would probably do, or I would look for one of his push pull legs programs. Lee says I don't squat. I mean, the box, you can use the box for all sorts of stuff. Um, yeah, like I said, I use it. Hell, I use it to put my shoes on. You know, so you can use it for all sorts of stuff. Mel says, love the high incline. I can feel side and front delts with them. Straight up behind the neck press, jacked up my shoulders too much. Yeah, behind the neck press will hit your side delt pretty good. Um, but you got to have you have to have the ability to be able to do that movement. You know, you can't just like start doing that if you don't have that range. You know, you'll just end up jamming all your shit up. Brett says Mike Summerfeld. I don't know how to say his name. Mike the Badass looks absolutely housed this far out from the Olympia. Dude looks so complete. Mike is incredible. I don't get caught up in the how guys look on Instagram and shit. I don't fucking care. Everyone's like, oh, is he see this guy? He's gonna win the Olympia, and then the fucking dude like never even wins his pro card. People are saying he's gonna, you know, be standing next to Derek and Nick, you know. But yeah, Mike is he's a different story. But yeah, I don't really even follow bodybuilding closely on as far as like the pro level. I'll look at their pictures and shit, but like I don't know. I don't make predictions and stuff like that. Of course, I love it. It's just, I just stay out of the social media shit. Not interested in it. Like, oh, is Derek gonna be ready, brother? Is he gonna make it to the Olympia? Stop. No, I'm not a Derek fanboy or anything, but I'm like, stop it. I don't know if Derek looks behind. Shut up. You guys, you're crazy. Lee says, retirement is treating you well. You seem you're in a good place today. Yeah, I'm good. Everything is good with me, Lee. Thank you. Brett says, I really only care about Mike and Nick. Yeah, dude. No, for sure. Mike is, I don't, I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't care about classic bodybuilding. I don't care. I only care about open bodybuilding on the pro level. Don't get me wrong. I love all my classic guys. But I do not care about classic bodybuilding. Logan is sick. Mike is sick. I don't care. Nick Walker is the man. He is the man. I like open bodybuilders. That's what I grew up on. Nothing can change that for me. I never was a fan of Arnold's physique. None of that shit. I wanted, you know, Dorian Yates, Branch Warren. I wanted freaks. You can save your gold era shit. I don't care. Frank Zane was cool. I was always a fan of his when I first got into bodybuilding because, um, like, I convinced myself that that was achievable, you know? Um, so I like settled for it. Like, if all else fails, I can look like Frank Zane. No, you can't stop. But no, yeah, I focus on bodybuilding for freaks. I'm here for the freaks. I don't know. I don't like sub tiers of, like, imagine this. Okay, there's the NFL, right? Okay, who's below that? Are you guys watching them? I'm not. I don't even watch the NFL, but so it's a bad example. But some people do. So you're there to watch the best of the best, the NFL. Like, who the fuck cares about whatever the other leagues are? I don't. So no, I like open body building for myself. That's what I'm a fan of. Um, the women's divisions are cool too, but I watch bodybuilding to watch open bodybuilding. That's what bodybuilding is to me. That's what I grew up on. So, sue me. Mm-mm-mm. DLC, can't wait to quit. Do it. Do it. You should today. I'll give you an extra cheat meal if you quit today. You know what's funny? DLC. Let me tell you this. I can, I'm not like hugely into Aura rings and shit, but I wear one, okay? I track my sleep, I track my resting heart rate, I track my blood pressure. I wear a CPAP, which also tracks metrics for me. I track all this shit, right? Okay, because I try to stay healthy. My resting heart rate after I quit my job came down 12, 15 points at night. My nocturnal resting heart rate literally dropped 12, 15 points. I was showing my friend Dylan, I was sending him screenshots. I'm like, bro, fucking look at this. I can't even make it up. My resting heart rate dropped 12, 15 points after I quit my job. My blood pressure dropped 10 points on both sides. I had to remove my blood pressure medication. So now my blood pressure medication is cut in half and taken every other day instead of every day. So, yeah, that came down. Sleep scores went up 8 to 10 points on average. Um, so, you tell me how all that happened. Um, Digestion rapidly improved. Um, Everything got better. I don't know. I don't know, DLC. I might be making it up. Um, I might be full shit, but hey, the numbers are there. The numbers are there. So just let me know if you want to live longer, quit your job. Let me know if you want to live, my friend. Brett says, oh yeah, we went over that. Nick looks like he's raised in a radioactive area or some shit. He does look like a cartoon character. It's incredible. I love that shit. I love that. Yeah, that's wild. That's the shit I love. Like when it's comical, you are so large that it's just all you can do is laugh. Like, what the fuck is that? Um, yeah, he's a real life Godzilla. It's whatever. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Dorian Yates is just the gold standard that has stood the test of time. Yeah, Dorian's fine. Um, Marcus Rule was cool. I was always a fan of him. Dennis Wolf, another freak. All sorts of guys. All sorts of guys. Small says, we know men's physique is your favorite, Tommy. I have a lot of respect for men's physique. And that's it. I'll leave it at that. It's just, I can't even name a men's physique pro. But my guys, well, my friend Devin, obviously, but like Olympia, like I don't know who's going to win the men's physique Olympia this year. I don't even know who's competing. I don't know the names of any of them. I don't. I don't. And that's not a slam on them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win the Olympics balance beam this, next Olympics. That's about as close as I am to men's physique. But my guys on national levels and things like that, man, I love men's physique. I love it. I love coaching them. I like the posing when it's not too dramatic. Um, I love the look. I think it's incredible. I think if I didn't care about wanting to be as big as possible, I would want to look like a men's physique guy. Why wouldn't you? They look great. They look great. You know, if your goal was getting attention from other people, if that's why you were doing this, who's going to get more positive attention when they walk into a room? A men's physique guy or a freaky looking gross bodybuilder? The freaky looking gross bodybuilder is going to get the negative attention. The men's physique guy is probably going to make more friends. Um, but I'm just not into it. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. TLC, I can't quit yet. Yeah, you can. Stop. Yeah, you can. Mark says stress plays a huge role in health. It does. It does. It does. Yeah. And I didn't even know. Um, I was so used to what I was doing that it never even dawned on me. Like, I guess I never had time to even reflect on it. Um, it was just like normal shit. But, I guess falling asleep while you're driving in the middle of the day and, having to pull over on the highway to close your eyes for a couple minutes so you can make it to your next call safely. Um, Falling asleep in the driveway when you get home after work, like all that shit was just normal to me. I didn't, I thought that's, I thought other people were doing that. And then I found out that's not normal. But um, yeah, I could fall asleep at any point of the day, anytime. Um, you know, and I'm not complaining about anything, just reflecting that I didn't even realize what I was doing because I was so far into it. And what we do as humans is we we normalize things that are not normal. It's always been that way, you know. That's the saying. Oh, I've always done it that way. That doesn't mean it's right, you know. So stop normalizing things that are not normal, right? It's it's like I think I said it on Devin's podcast, Devin and I's podcast. If your brakes are squeaking on the car, get the brakes looked at. Don't just, oh, well, the brakes squeak on this car. It's how this car is. The brakes just squeak. That doesn't mean it's good or normal. So yeah, I ignored all of the signs of what I was experiencing. Um, yeah, you know, I probably ruined some relationships around me because I just didn't have the energy for anything, obviously. Um, so yeah, it took a while to even notice that what I was doing, because I've done it for a long time. I've always worked a lot of hours, and in heating and air, you're working those outside in the heat, um, and it's just a lot of stuff, a lot of driving. It's a manual labor job, and I love it. I still love it, but I don't want to go back to it. That's for sure, you know. But yeah. Anyways, that's you're right, Mark. Stress plays a huge role in health. Yep. Lee says you're going to make it. Thanks, Lee. We'll see. Otherwise, I won't, right? Those are the two options. Press Lee. Those things aren't normal. I get half my sleep behind the wheel. I know. Presley's in a trade as well. He's a coach as well. He's a bodybuilder as well. So he gets it. He knows what I went through. Yeah, he gets it as well. He's a father as well. So um, yeah, he knows. He knows what it is. He does. DLC, my friend David, another question to keep this going, just for fun. Let's do it. If you could go back 10 years and give yourself one piece of advice about training or health, what would it be? 10 years? That's it? Fuck. It's not that long ago, dude. 10 years. Um, I would have I would have given up more people. I would have I would have sacrificed more because I would have been more selfish. And I know that sounds bad, but 10 years ago, I was I was more concerned with what others thought about me, and trying to make everyone happy. And I didn't put myself first. And I wasted a lot of time, and I accommodated for a lot of other people. I would have been a lot more selfish, David. That's what I would have done. And I know that sounds bad, but when you really take a second to think about it, it will it will make sense. So I'm of the belief that the more time, effort, money, etc., that we put into ourselves, then, only then, can we be the best person for everyone else. But I do, I think this. I think we need to put ourselves first more often, and for the majority, because at the end of the day, you are truthfully the only thing you got left, right? And you need to value yourself. You need to believe in yourself, and you need to, what others would view as selfish, you need to be selfish to a point. And that way, you have so much more to give to those that you love and care about. You can be a better leader for the family, a better provider for the family, a better husband, father, everything like that. If your shit is in order, right? You need to clean your own room before you tell anyone else to clean their room. It's quite that simple. And I really, really wish I would have done that sooner. Yeah, yeah, that's what I would have done sooner, is put more effort into myself and developing myself, you know, emotionally, physically, everything, financially. Um, I would have put so much more effort and time into just me. Yep, that's it. That's it, David. I hope that makes sense. Uh, Adam, speaking of men's physique, whew, Adam's the man. Couldn't pop in till just now. That's good. We were making fun of men's physique, so glad you missed that. Want to say what's up, everybody? Also, you, Tommy. Glad you're here, Adam. Josh, that's it. I'm quitting plumbing. It's in the name of my health. Yeah, that's right, Josh. You should quit. Adam says, I feel this answer to the 10-year question. Yeah, I'm glad, Adam. Um, Adam knows he's a husband, father, etc., provider, leader, all those things. Um, Adam knows that we need to have our shit in order if we want to lead a family and provide for a family. George, my man, looking back on your past training, what are some things you learned that you think didn't work that well? That did I read that right? Looking back on your past training, what are some things you have learned that you think didn't work that did? Oh, okay. I like that. I like that, George. Um, okay. I I don't regret any of my powerlifting. I think it built a really, really good foundation for me. I would not, I would not have done it as long as I did if I knew what I knew now. But that's one of the things that I didn't think provided anything of any sort of value. And then I realized, okay, that was worth it. That was worth. I think the time period was too long. Um, I started training when I was 13 years old. Um, I started training for powerlifting. Man, let me do some math. Let's see. Um, the point is, I did it for too long. I did it for too long. Um, yeah, so I was about 17, 18 when I started training for powerlifting primarily for strength, things like that. I wish I would have done it until I was like, I don't know, 5 years, right? I wish I would have only done it for about 5 years. And then I would have pivoted um, to things geared more towards strictly hypertrophy training. But I can't change anything now. I don't regret anything. There's so many things I learned from that style of training that are still applicable to what I do now. And man, I learned so because I was always fucked up. I learned so much rehab shit and just stuff about how the body's supposed to move, and a lot of things that applies to bodybuilding. So no, I don't regret any of it, and that's not what you asked. But just for the record, I don't regret it. I'm glad I did that. And now looking back, this is what you did ask. I can tell that all that shit worked, and it was worth doing. It was worth doing. Ray, my man, Ray Stir, because we got Raymond as well. What up, big dog? My man. Speaking of, Ray is growing. Ray Stir is growing. Raymond's growing. Raymond says you can't pour from an empty cup. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Presley, what's the lowest you'll take fat with a natural male athlete in prep? So not long term indefinitely, but a brief period of time for a specific goal. Presley, I would probably 20% their body weight, 20-30%. I don't like going a lot lower than that. I don't like going a lot lower than that. I really don't. Because it's not just about your testosterone levels are going to be fucked anyways when you're dieting that hard. But the thing to remember, Presley, is what it does to digestion. And if you get the colon so dry from no fats, the natural guys are going to, just like the enhanced guys and girls, they're going to run into digestion issues if you run fat too low for too long. So even if it's small amounts of EFAs, Presley, like you could add 3 grams of flaxseed oil to one of their meals or 3 grams of olive oil to one of their meals. And that's quite low in fat, but at least there's something to help keep everything lubricated, if that makes sense. Is it going to help, manufacture testosterone in their body? No, fuck. No. But their body's so run down in prep anyways that their test is fucking gone anyways. It doesn't matter. It's shit. It's gone. But that's why naturals get pretty fucking dry and lean. There's no water retention. Their hormones are gone, just like pulling tests for an enhanced guy or girl, right? You can dry out a natural like fucking crazy. And I think that's part of it. I do. George, my man, what are your own goals with your bodybuilding right now? And what are you doing to get there? George, I do have a specific goal in mind, an overall big goal that I would like to achieve within the next 3 to 4 years. My current goal right now is to win my next 2 shows. My first show is in November of this year. So I'm something like 9 weeks out or whatever. Someone can do the math. I don't know. I don't care. And then the next one is 4 weeks later in December. So my current goals are those shows and those shows only. Nothing else matters right now. Those are my focus. Okay, same question, George says, but for PEDs and diet. What would you have done instead? Okay, so the question, looking back on your past, we'll switch it to PEDs and diet. What are some things that you have learned that you think didn't work, but they actually did? Honestly, my diet has always been quite sound. I learned very, very early on about the intra-workout window, such as having an adequate pre-workout meal, having an intra drink of some kind, not always carbs, but at least EAAs, and then having something fast acting post workout. Then an hour or 2 hours later, having a solid meal. I learned that very early on, and my clients know that that's how I prescribe a lot of diets. Not everyone. Some of my lifestyle people, they don't have like that traditional window that a lot of you guys do. Like you see the pre, intra, post. Like I learned that stuff from Meadows. Like he was one of the what I would call the pioneers of that. Skip used nearly the same exact setup. Um, AJ uses very similar setup, and between those three, those guys are the pinnacle of what I am. They are where everything has come from. I've learned from all sorts of people, but those three are my granddaddies. Those are the guys for me, at least, and they all shared that in common. So I know I'm onto something when I'm using that. So yeah, as far as diet, man, I've done that. I started doing that probably when I was 17. That workout window, your pre-workout 30 to 60 minutes before, normally something like at that time I was doing a lot of cream of rice with a little bit of peanut butter and whey protein in there because that was John came up with that. So I'd hit that meal about 60 minutes out, have my intra drink. At that time, I was using intra carbs, and those were kind of new at the time. And then post workout, you'd hit something quicker. When I was younger, I would do Trader Joe's gluten free waffles and real maple syrup and a protein shake of some kind, something quick acting. And then after that, I would move on to a full whole food meal. So no, dude, like honestly, my diet was has been pretty good for a long time. Now the consistency when I was younger was not what it is now. Like I there's nothing. My shit's dialed all the time. It has been for years. PEDs. Uh, Let me read the question again. It's a good question. I just get it twisted around. Um, Looking back on your past PED use, what are some things you have learned that you think didn't work, but they actually did? My PED use has always been quite simple. Um, so same thing. Um, I've always stuck to basic shit. I've never I've never been interested in like they just they don't arouse me. I like taking gear. I I take gear. We all know that. But I'm just not I don't get excited about it. It's the most boring thing for me about bodybuilding. Um, so when I was young, I just started on TRT. What I will say is TRT is underrated. I think TRT is an incredible performance enhancer, but you're not going to get to the level that I want to get to on TRT. I'm not. Some people could. My I chose my parents wrong, you know? So if I chose better parents, hey, maybe I could get there on TRT. But I can't, and that's okay, because we'll get there some other way. What would you have done instead? One thing, George, and this sounds bad, like a lot of shit I say, but that's okay. I'll tell you anyways, because you're my friend, George. I would have started gear earlier. I would have started using gear earlier than I did. Just being honest. Just being honest. Um, I would have started younger than I did. Um, that's about all I would have changed. as far as gear use. I would have started earlier. And that's not a recommendation by any means. But you have to remember, I started training at 13 years old. You know, if I would have started using gear at 21, I almost had 10 years of training under my belt at that point. So going back, yeah, I probably would have started using gear at 21, maybe even 20. I do have a moral rule for myself and a lot of the times for my clients. If you live with your parents, do not use PEDs. Do not bring them into their home. That is disrespectful. But I would have started them younger, George. Just being honest. That's it. Ray Stir. How do you recommend not getting too fixated on beating the logbook in a build phase, especially when I'm hitting walls or progression gets gnarly? Don't keep a logbook if you don't want to fixate on it. Don't keep one. Don't even bring it into the gym. But anyways, I'll answer your actual question. How do you not get hyperfixated on beating a logbook? Here's what you do. I'm going to show you something. This is cool. Watch this. This will reflect back on what George. Hey, this is going to help you out, George. Stick around for this one. Watch this, Racer. Let's say, okay, let's say your movement, your bread and butter is a prime incline chest press, right? I know you guys like that fancy machine shit. Prime incline chest press. Okay, let's look at this, Racer. It's teaching time. Week 1, you took, we're going to do it in pounds and we're going to do it in barbell pounds so it's easy for me to present this. Okay, week 1, you took 135 for a top set of 10. Okay, we're following? Week 2, we keep that same movement and we were able to do 140 for 11. We beat our logbook. Did we not? Yes or no? Yes, we did. Okay. Week 3, we took 140. We only got 11 again. Shit. Week 4, we took 140 for 11 again. Racer is starting to pull out his Anadrol from the underwear drawer. He's starting to get ready. He's like, I need to get past this 140 for 11 reps, right? Here's the problem with logbooks. And I want you guys to understand this. The weight in reps don't always have to go up. There's other variable involved in beating a logbook. Movement quality. What about that? Movement quality, right? The movement could have got cleaner, easier, more focus, more time under tension on the intended muscle. How about this? What if we were able to shorten rest periods and still hit that 140 for 11? What if we did a set of flies and supersetted it with the 140 for 11 and we hit it again? But wait, here's another one, right? Week 5, you go into that gym, you get on that prime incline chest press, and you say, I have to beat 140 for 11 or I'm going to drive my car into a tree on the way home. Watch this, Racer, right? what we're going to do, remember week 1, we took 135 for 10? Okay. We put 135 on that prime incline chest press, and we take it for 12 today. Oh, man. You know what happened? We beat week 1. But we didn't do it with 140 for 11. Yeah, but we got 135 for 12. And week 1, we only got 135 for 10. Okay, so that's one way. That's one way to beat your logbook right there, right? Watch this. Week 6, we come in. You know what? Things are feeling kind of heavy today, okay? I'm going to get on that prime incline chest press, and I'm only going to load 125 pounds. Okay, right? So we're going to put 125 pounds on that incline chest press. Week 4, this is where it gets fun. This is where you're going to learn how to beat your logbook in several different ways for the rest of your life. So you can start paying me more and thank me later. So, Racer, we go back to week 4, and we did 140 times 11. You're going to want to write this formula down. Times 0.033 plus 140. That equals 190.82. What is that formula? It's called the estimated 1 rep max formula. Okay? So it is weight times reps in parentheses plus weight. Does that make sense? Okay, good. You following? So 190.82 is the number to beat in week 6, but our load is only going to be 125 pounds. Why? Because I don't know, shit feels kind of heavy today. 125 seems like a safer number. So here's what we start doing. Okay, what if we take 125 for 14? I'm going to do that same formula and punch it in. That's not going to be enough. That's only going to be 182.75 when you plug it into that formula that I just mentioned. Okay. So now 125. Hey, what if I can crank out 16? Okay. 125 times 16 reps times 0.033 equals plus 125. 191, baby. 191 is greater than 190.82. We technically just beat our logbook, but we did so by using a lighter weight with higher reps. So we did 125 times 16 reps times 0.033 equals plus 125 equals 191. Winner, winner. We beat our logbook, and we did it with less weight. Right? So let me try to show you this. Okay. Weight times reps in parentheses, just leave it in the calculator, plus the weight. Okay. You can see 140 for 11 reps equals 190.82. We go to week 6, 125 for 16 reps. Ignore that 182. That was when we did it for 12 or whatever. 125 for 16 reps is 191. We beat it. We beat it. We beat the logbook. We beat the logbook in a different way with less weight, but we still beat it. And now you can do it in a different manner, right? Now, what if we come in week 7? Okay, we had that lighter week at that 125 for 16. I beat the logbook a little bit. Now, I'm feeling good. I'm going to put 155 on the prime incline. Okay. Now I have to figure out the math. 155. Let's say we can do it for 9. 155 times 9 times 0.033 equals plus 155. Winner, winner, 201. That's a 10-pound personal record for your logbook, sir. Congratulations. You just added 10 pounds to your estimated 1 rep max, and you beat your logbook. And it wasn't so cut and dried, but that's what you could do to continue to beat the logbook without just adding weight and reps, right? Sometimes you can cut back on the weight, balance out the reps, and find out what was needed to beat that estimated 1 rep max total, right? That's a brilliant way to continue to make progression for a long time. It takes out some of the mental stress of loading that 140 on the bar that you've been stuck on for however many weeks now. Okay, maybe we need to scale back the weight and start building up the reps. Maybe we need to increase the weight and start lowering the reps, right? Just shit to keep in mind, okay? George, realizing that you're cutting yourself short on stimulus to gains when you alter your technique or form are shifting tension away from the body part you are trying to stimulate by forcing it. I agree, George. So you're not achieving what you think you're achieving. You're losing gains. I agree with George. Immaculate form and focus. Yeah, George is dead on with all this. Yeah. So what he's saying is maybe you're starting to do shit that's counterproductive just to beat that logbook. And it's like, that's not the goal in bodybuilding. No. That's not the goal, because neurologically you can get better at a movement. And when I say better, it just means you can move more weight for more reps. But did you neurologically get better, or did the muscle get stimulated more? The SAID principle, right? Specific adaptation to imposed demand. The more you do something, the better you get at it. You don't want to get technically better at shit in bodybuilding. You want to make it harder each time. You want to make the muscles work harder each time. You don't want to make it easier for them. Because when you do, you start offloading that weight onto passive structures instead of active structures. And this is a lot of stuff I learned from Danny. So shout out to her. Yeah. And then you start training like a power lifter. And man, I could load up a barbell and just load up my lats and not feeling, go to barbell press it and not feel anything on my chest because it's all sitting on my triceps, elbows, and lats, right? Adam, to piggyback off the logbook question, I think something else to consider when monitoring progress is form. Yeah, we're all on the same track. Yeah, I'm glad you guys understand this all. It's really important to consider that progress can't always be measured with, yeah. Otherwise, we would all be curling like 120-pound dumbbells. Why the fuck can we grow our biceps with 20-pound dumbbells for years and years and years and years? And then you guys think you need 8 plates on the T-bar row. Stop it. Stop. Knock it off. Smalls, my man, the champion. Given your experience now, what's the best way to start learning a new area/discipline? I'd like to learn more about strength training and rehab. YouTube, mentors, books. What's your first approach? Books. Yeah, books. Yep, that's what I would do. And if you want books on those specific areas, let me know. I can steer you in the right direction. Dave, the Elite FTS channel, Dave Tate's channel and website is full of information from decades and decades of shit. Elite FTS is your go-to resource for strength. Raymond said, I wish I started using gear as soon as I moved out of my parents' place. Yeah. My man, Blue Collar Dave, what is up, Tommy? Hope all is well. Any fun plans for the Labor Day weekend? Um, uh, we are going to a car show, an exotic car show. Chase and I are going there. Omega Amino is sponsoring an exotic car show. So we are going to go there and network and connect with folks and meet friends and look at cars. And I'm a person in prep who spends a lot of money when I'm in prep. So I'm going to try to make it through this prep without buying myself a car. That's the goal this Labor Day weekend. Dave, I'm going to try to avoid purchasing a vehicle before this year is over. Mark, since I stopped logging, I just focused on hard training with good form. I've grown a lot. Paralysis by analysis is real. Yeah, it's okay to log. It's okay to log. It's okay to not log. The answer's in the middle. You guys know it's going to be on my gravestone. The answer's in the middle. Racer says, time to order the A-bombs. Yes, sir. Those work too. Those will beat your logbook. Brett, I'm not even going to read this wildness. Racer, mad scientist putting in work. Formula logbook. Yeah. You write that formula down. That could change your perspective on things in a really good way. So that's weight times reps, hit equals on your calculator, leave it in there. Weight times reps times 0.033, hit equals, leave it in there, and then add the weight. So for example, 140 times 10 times 0.033 equals, leave it in the calculator, add 140. That gives you an estimated 1 rep max. And that's now a new number that you can focus on beating versus the standard weight and reps, right? Gives you another avenue, pathway to focus on. Then you're not hyper fixated on just sets reps, weight reps, right? Yeah, so something to consider. You can also beat a logbook with volume. Example, you're stuck on that 140 for 11 reps, but now you did 2 sets at 140 for 11 reps. And then the next week you did 3 sets at 140 for 11 reps. Well, you beat it. You just beat it with volume, okay? All things to consider. Brett says, Tommy got in the lab for that response. Yes, I always have my legal pad ready to perform formulas, draw graphs, whatever you guys need. That's what I'm here for. George, do you think there's anything to learn and take away from these educators that rely on mechanistic research for hypertrophy like Chris Beardsley? What can we learn from these guys? It seems dogmatic. I don't know him specifically. I probably should, but I don't. Sorry, Chris Beardsley. I just don't know you. Yeah, of course, there's things we can take away from a mechanistic research. Of course. I'm not a guy who's just like, oh, we got to train like a bro. And, oh, we got to train like the science says. I'm in the middle. You can, that estimated rep max formula I just gave you, that's like a science-based formula, I guess, right? And it's applicable. I just don't think it's a good idea to swing too far one way, either way or the other. That goes with everything. That goes for everything. Everything. Kevin Will, my man, do you think mini cuts are effective for extending an off-season growth phase? If body fat starts to get too high, but the client isn't ready / doesn't want to compete yet? I have a hard time with things that are described as like, I don't know. I hate the clicky words like mini cut and bulk and cut. Like I hate all that shit. It's just annoying. Stop it. Do you think mini cuts are effective? Yeah, well, sure. But I don't think they need to be 6, 8 weeks long. I think they can be 2 days long. I think you can take a couple days off the gym, lower calories temporarily, and bring back insulin sensitivity very, very rapidly. Um, and that's your mini cut. Congrats. It only took 2, 3 days to get you some insulin sensitivity back, some food signaling back, and everything you needed to continue to push. So, yeah, I think they're effective. I just don't think they need to be this drawn out phase of, because that then, Kevin, it starts turning into yo-yo dieting bullshit, and then guys just get nowhere, forever. They just literally, they just don't grow ever. George, thanks for the credit. Tommy, yeah, you're welcome, George. Thanks for being here. I've learned a lot from doing this dumb shit for so many years. Yeah, George, we all have. There's lots to learn all the time, all the time. There's more and more to learn, for sure. As long as you are hitting the muscle you are trying to work in 0 to 2 reps to failure and are doing a decent amount of volume you can recover from, and you can do more from session to session, keep it up. Yeah. I don't disagree with any of that. Yeah. I think you can go to failure too. Yeah, it's not about how much you can do, it's about how much you can recover from a lot of the times. So yeah, I agree with that, George. Yeah, Elite FTS Table Talk podcast, says George. Yeah, really good podcast.